I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how this is going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules, a world without controls, a world without borders and boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where you go from here is a choice I leave to you. Yes, it's me, Jared Leto, auditioning for the part of Neo. Now back to your regularly scheduled bull, Abido.
Okay, so why did you sound like Tom Hardy as Bane?
That's the power
At
of
least in
Keanu.
part.
That's the power of Keanu Reeves.
Well, in order to just piggyback off that, I'll just go into my best Kel Mitchell. No.
Yeah. Here's the correct answer.
My God, Leto looks like a Batman villain that's left on the cutting room floor with that picture. Brian doesn't know either. It's fine. None of us do. So, cold open. Matches the frigid temperatures outside right now. I'm sure AJ's dealing with that too, most likely.
Pretty much.
It's not super cold here, but you know how my body has been acclimated to Florida heat now, so it's like I will die if it's like 60 degrees at this point. So, and plus it's raining, so it sucks. But yeah, that's your cold open, ladies and gentlemen. 17 days until I am in Los Angeles, California. Super excited for that. I'm a lot more poor now because now I currently have tickets to the weekend. That's right, not the Abel concert. No, that's not happening. We're talking about the weekend, All Elite Wrestling Revolution here in Orlando. I will be at Rampage. I will be at the pay-per-view, and the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast is going to be live in Tin Roof at the end of next month, and I'll be there too. So, spent lots of money, watched Spider-Man twice, went to Cowfish, and now here's where we are. So, yeah, lots of stuff to talk about tonight. And I know this is kind of the let's sweep this under the rug award right now because of the way the world's going at this point. But we're still going to talk about it. There's not a televised award show that I'm aware of. They still haven't tried to formulate if that's going to happen or not. I know it's happening the same day as the Critics' Choice, and they're super butthurt about the fact that they're going one-on-one that day. And I'll shoot with you. I will probably be in Hollywood that night, so I won't be available for that show, or I will be in Anaheim. Either way, I'll be in California. I will try to chime in if I'm able to. But these Disney closings, the park hours until like midnight, so I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So needless to say, hey, for midnight for me, that's 3 hours behind. So it's gonna feel like forever, and I'll be so jet lagged. I'll need that week to relax. But that being said, we're going to talk about the Film Independent Spirit Awards tonight because that just dropped officially, further solidifying something that has been said in chat numerous times, that there is a new juggernaut that is heading our way that AJ has had faith in for a bit. I'm starting to get a little bit more faith in. You'll find that out next week. But yeah, so we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about our predictions for the Golden Globes. But before we go any further, AJ, we don't really talk about the state of the race. What's been going on lately?
Well, I finally got my shit together and started putting together the critic charts that they're going to do for the critics wins.
Right.
And as we say, you're not supposed to take critics wins to heart. And there's usually at least one or two things that win like most critics awards and then just get snubbed entirely. The Ethan Hawke Award, if you will.
Yeah.
But I'm getting a little worried about something because we've been talking about how our predictions are so like it seems like there's a new juggernaut every time. And it's like there's just no room anymore. And it's like stop giving us great things that could get nominated because there's no room for anything. It is we have a guaranteed 10 slots in picture, and it's not enough.
Not even close.
And like I said, I know you're not supposed to take the Critics Awards to heart or anything, but I'm really starting to buy into this Drive My Car thing. Drive My Car coming out of the international category into other bigger ones. And I don't know what in God's name is going, if that should happen. I have no idea what's going to get taken out anymore because.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Well, AJ, you also know that last week, Lorraine actually was the first one to mention Drive My Car in chat. So it's the first time that I ever really heard about everything. And she was talking about it on her Twitter as well. And this really and you told me about what the movie is or what you believed it to be. And I know I don't believe you've seen it yet. I don't think you've had time to see it yet, but I know you're planning on watching it sooner rather than later.
It's a time commitment. It is 3 hours long.
Dear God.
But it's got a lot, it's really, the movie itself, the director, and the lead actor have gotten quite a few, and it's gotten a few screenplay wins up to this point. And I don't know, prediction-wise, I don't know what to do with that, but I mean, it could.
Well, exactly. So it's funny, AJ, you mentioned that because this show that we're doing next, I know that granted we're getting ahead of ourselves, but this show we're doing next Monday night is going to make me 100% have to get full because I'm going to have to eat a lot of crow. And you'll know exactly what I mean very soon. So real quick before we go into chat, I do want to make mention, hi, my name is Owen. I'm wearing an Eddie Kingston shirt. Joining me as always we have Ashley.
Yeah, the intro just happened. That was so
Yep.
That was so cold. It was Wangman versus Danielson levels of cold. Winter is coming.
Wangman levels of cold. Exactly. God, that show was great. Yeah, and obviously joining us as always we have AJ.
Yeah.
And we are very perplexed, to say the least, right now to what we're going to do. I think that's the best way to put it at this point. So before we go into anything, thanks to chat, Brian put a question mark. Yep, that could be anything. Who knows? Josephine says, hey guys, just finished reading Somewhere in Time by Richard Matheson and read some stories in the Pearlesque Buck Christmas Treasury. Now I'm reading Last Chance Library by Freya Sampson. Good stuff. Yeah, very cool. Drive My Car is based on a Haruki Murakami short story, which AJ brought up to me, that a 3-hour movie is based on a short story. Wrap your head around that. Lorraine says, I just want to thank you for being you, Popcast Network. My computer isn't working. I just walked into a subway car where someone threw up. I need this and I appreciate you. Well, we appreciate you too, Lorraine. Thank you for joining us tonight. So Ashley gives you a thumbs up.
Now
AJ,
we just need to imagine Jared Leto as the one that's puking up in that subway car.
Not on AJ's watch. And of course, and comedy for 2 is still comedy. Lorraine, I give you Bill Jacobson thumbs up. Before Orange Cassidy, there was Bill Jacobson, Bill Effin Jacobson, the greatest man that never lived. Needless to say, the man that was based on a cartoon character, a caricature that may or may not actually be him, and he does sell insurance, probably still to this day. Comedy for 2, AJ, is still comedy.
You've lost everyone.
He walked so the Geico lizard could run.
Dear God. What a way to kick off the show tonight. So yeah, what we're going to do, if you've noticed on the network, AJ has been got his working boots on. So we're going to get a lot of videos coming very soon. We have 2 that are up now, and we've got more still to come, more movie reviews. There's going to be a versus somewhere down the line. There's a lot of things still to come. Ashley has content. I got a lot of content to put up soon. As soon as AJ gives me that last video, we're on the run, my friends, and we're going to make sure we get everything ready before I leave for California.
I was actually making cookies for most of the day, and that's why you don't have the West Side Story video yet.
Hey, I mean, priorities, good sir, priorities. I want cookies. Sounds great.
Well, the thing is it's actually annoying you don't have that video yet because Belfast is going to be on that video, and I'm actually pretty excited to talk about how I feel about Belfast in more detail. So,
And I'm sure that's going to be the polar opposite of what we were talking about when we talked about Nightmare Alley. Anyway, we'll get to that later. Brian says, so the spirits don't go with Nicolas Cage, don't go with Joaquin Phoenix, Woody Norman, Coda, Humans, and Passing underperform. You go big with Lost Daughter, but no Olivia Colman.
Yeah, but remember, the Spirit Awards are always really weird anyway.
The wrestler beat the Hurt Locker. That's all that matters in life.
And Brie Larson being the only nomination for Room, and the only reason she even won it was because they're at the end of the year, and she had the momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, keep this in mind for later on. Imagine Jared Leto's character in House of Gucci as a video game character option in Mario Kart, says Josephine.
Christ. No, that's what we say for next week.
Yeah, Brian, AJ does make cookies, apparently. I shocked me, too, so there you go. I don't know.
I'm sorry, is that weird? Especially this time of year, is that weird?
It's 5 days till Christmas. No, it's not weird. But, yeah, so we got a lot to talk about tonight. So we're going to go into the discussion on the Spirit Awards. Now, granted, the Spirit Awards seems to be the first. It's one of the very last televised award shows every single year. It takes place inside the tent. We always make fun of it every year.
Normally.
This year, that's not the case.
It's the third to last.
Calendar.
It's the third to last because it's happening before the BAFTAs.
Such a weird lineup this year.
Boy,
but yeah, it's like lots of stuff going on with the Spirit Awards. I noticed just by looking at it, a nice showing for both The Lost Daughter and Come On, Come On, which I'm happy to get some love for Come On, Come On because it needs to get more, even though I don't think that's going to translate to anything. But yeah, nice consolation prize, Joaquin. So, but we'll get to that a little bit later, and let's go into this real quick. AJ, you seem you have a word.
There's only one thing I took away from the Spirit Award nominees. Like, I don't even have them in front of me right now, but one thing in particular.
Okay.
This movie, Pleasure,
that
got like at least a couple of nominations. Are there any It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fans with us right now?
Uh-oh.
I'm sure there is.
Well, you remember the episode where they were going to make the movie, and Dennis's brilliant idea was full penetration? Am I under the impression that that is now a movie that exists, and it is up for Spirit Awards, and it is called Pleasure? I feel like because I was looking up the ones I had never heard of, and that was one of them.
Second. I remember there was a big thing about 9 Songs, the Michael Winterbottom film.
Oh, God.
From like 15 years ago.
That's an interesting movie that I've seen a few times, I won't lie. It's got some good... No, honestly, it has some really good musical sequences in it, too.
It's like the...
Really?
It's the ultra adult version of Closer.
The way you just described why you watch 9 Songs sounded an awful lot like I read the articles.
God dang it. And on that note, Josephine's mom is making cookies right now.
You make the cookie America. Right now, everyone cooking America.
Pleasure is based on a 2013 Swedish short, says Brian.
You see, this is why I respect Boiling Point. It's a short film that was then made into a 2-hour extended film. Not like a short book that became 3 hours.
Is Boiling Point's the one with Stephen Graham? Is that the one that's the one take?
Yes. The short film was a 20-minute one-shot, and this time it's 2 hours.
Oh, speaking of that, apparently the short list comes out tomorrow for shorts.
The short list.
All 3?
That's what Brian said. I'm going to guess that's correct.
I'm trying to think. There's a few things Oscar-related that I think are coming out tomorrow.
I don't have... The calendar is literally on the phone that I'm currently using to film, so that's not going to work for me.
I think we
Otherwise, I
get
would be more than happy to jump
I
on
think
that.
we also get the shortlist for the international feature as well, which is 15, I think.
Sounds likely.
I think it's 15, and then it gets cut down to 5 eventually.
Well, like I said, we're going to talk Spirit Awards, and just like we did last week, we're just going to go over like our thoughts on the nominations. Probably won't take very long, but then we'll do our predictions for the Spirit Awards later down the line, like we always do. And then next week we've got our final Oscar predictions of the year, and the final time we're going to be doing the Big 8, because in January we're going when it starts to get real busy. We're going to start doing all categories predicted, so that's going to be fun ski time. And the final week of the first week of January, right before I leave for California, like days before I leave for California, we'll do our Critics' Choice predictions. So let's talk Spirit Awards. But first, Ashley, you said you wanted to say something.
I was just trying to say, so the shortlist that will be announced tomorrow, which I guess we could dissect somewhat next week. As well.
Sure.
So 15 documentary features, 15 documentary shorts, 15 international features, 10 for makeup and hair, 15 for original score, 15 for song, 10 for animated short, 10 for live action short, 10 for VFX, and 10 for sound for the first time ever.
Brian just 100% said the exact same thing in a different way in chat right now.
Thanks, Brian. I always want to do it myself because I want to give variety the clicks for some reason.
That's very helpful with my Oscar predictions right now, even though I'm not exactly sure I believe it, but we'll get there. So yeah, let's talk Spirit Awards real quick. So
the TV
Spirit
stuff
Awards
first.
in the time. You have fun with that. I'll take a napski.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in here that people should see.
Yeah, if you watch TV, maybe.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, most of the stuff that's in this list I don't think is even on television. It's all subscription services, so you probably see it on your phone or your tablet or something. Barely any of these are actually TV stuff. So for Ensemble Cast, we have Reservation Dogs. Which is interesting because I think it was the same last year where, like with the main one, the one that gets the best ensemble can't be eligible for other awards. Apparently not this year, because Reservation Dogs is also in for new scripted series, but we'll get to that in a minute. So for non-scripted documentary...
Only in the movie categories.
Yeah. For non-scripted or documentary, we have Black and Missing, the Cho Show, I think it's pronounced. The Lady in the Dale, Nuclear Family, and Philly DA. I'm not aware of many of them, and I deleted what channels they were on, which is clever of me. For female performance in a new scripted series, we've got Deborah Iorinda for Them Covenant, which is Amazon, I think. Jasmine Cephas Jones for Blind Spotting, which I think is Netflix. Fuso and Beidou for The Underground Railroad, which is Amazon. Jana Schmeding for Rutherford Falls, don't know. And Anjana Vasan for We Are Lady Parts. And then on the male performance side, we've got Ollie Alexander for It's a Sin, Murray Bartlett for White Lotus, Michael Grey Eyes for Rutherford Falls, Lee Jung Jae for Squid Game, and Ashley Thomas for Them Covenant. And then in terms of the actual scripted series itself, we've got Blind Spotting, It's a Sin, Reservation Dogs, Underground Railroad, and We Are Lady Parts. I'm just pleased to see somebody recognise that It's a Sin exists after it pretty much got ignored from the Globes. Russell T. Davis, come back to Doctor Who quicker than what you are, please. It's much better. And then the three, which I'm not going to say we should predict now, but it's basically the case of if we don't predict it, they'll already announce it by the time we get to the predictions. Because the Truer Than Fiction, the Producers Award, and the Someone to Watch Award, they always announce like beforehand.
Right.
So I don't know whether you want to put these in now as sort of pseudo predictions. So for Truer Than Fiction, we have Jessica Bashir for Fire Day, Deborah Lum for Try Harder. It's got an exclamation point, so I have to say it like that. And Angelo Madsen Minax for North by Current. Are we doing predictions on it, or are we just gonna ignore them?
Wow, I mean, we've never really done like predictions
Well,
before. I feel
prob
like
the
it's an
problem
uncharted territory.
the problem is, of course, by the time we get round to these, we'll have already found out who the winners of these are. So if you just want to just leave it as it has been for the past few years, you can.
No, we've done these categories before. I remember doing them like early on when we were doing this.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Truer Than Fiction Award. AJ.
I'll go with that third one. That was the one that stuck out to me.
North by Current.
Ashley.
I haven't gone for Try Harder.
Wow. Someone's gonna get the point. I'm going with Fire Day.
This is where I probably need to get up the Independent Spirit Awards thing so I know what these people have done. Because or is it the Someone to Watch Award? Oh, it actually lists.
I know what they are. Yeah, it does.
They've updated what it is that they've done. Also, that's last
Producers
year's.
Awards, not this.
That's last year's, damn it. So,
I got it.
For the Producers Award, that's the problem. We have Brad Becker Parton, Pin Chun Liu, and Lizzie Shapiro.
All right. AJ?
Let's keep it going. I will go with the last one again.
Okay, I'll go with the middle one then.
I would also go with Lizzie Shapiro.
Oh. Now I feel sorry for Brad.
There's your winner right there.
Yeah.
And then the Someone to Watch Award. We have Alex Camilleri for Luzu, Michael Sonosky for Pig, and Gillian Wallace Horvat for I Blame Society. I like the name.
Hey. Yes. AJ.
I mean, the middle one almost seems too obvious, but I'll go with it anyway.
Ashley.
Yeah, I went with Pig, because it might be the only thing that it sadly picks up.
Maybe not.
And then the most important one, at least in the eyes of a lot of people here on the call, the Altman Award for Best Ensemble goes to Mass.
Excellent. That review just got dropped today, so even though it's like we're in October right now, technically speaking, that review is up for the 30th of October right now. So yeah, check that out on the network currently.
The thing that I was shocked by last week afterwards, because I was like, when is Mass coming out? It's been out in America for like months and it still hasn't come out here. Normally, when Sky Cinemas pick up films, it's crap, like Blythe Spirit, or Hurricane Heist, or the remake of the remake of the remake of Secret Garden. So, when I see that they picked up Mass, I'm like, why are you putting on really good films? You're supposed to do rubbish. So I hope because of that, it actually gets on Amazon and iTunes quicker, because it's basically the format is it'll be limited release, but also on the movie channel on like satellite and cable, and also via streaming. So I'm hoping I'll actually be able to watch it. Maybe. Anyway, to the ones that we're just gonna assess now. Mini predictions over. So
That was weird.
So the John Cassavetes Award. The contenders here are Crypto Zoo, Jockey, Shiva Baby, Sweet Thing, and This Is Not a War Story.
I've seen one of these, and it's one of the best movies of the year. I have a horse in this race for once.
I'm trying to work out which one that is. Because I heard good things about Shiva Baby.
That's it.
I figured as much. The only one I was, the only reason I wasn't sure is because like I wondered whether Jockey was in there, because Jockey seems to be showing up quite a bit in some lists.
Jockey will be coming out theatrically after Christmas.
Oh, okay. I wasn't
Thanks,
sure.
Box Office Mojo.
I wasn't sure because of all these recognitions it's getting. It's like, you know, the screeners must be being sent. But I'd say that's a pretty good list. Also, if Crypto Zoo is not about cryptocurrency, I'm disappointed. Oh wait, it's animated. Okay. So it's Scanner Darkly then. Best international film, which is pretty well. I think at least 3 are the contenders. I think. So we have for Finland and Russia, because apparently they don't want it to be just Finland. Compartment number 6, Japan's Drive My Car, Spain's Parallel Mothers, India's submission Pebbles, or at least from India, Pebbles, I should say. Petit Maman from France, and Prayers for the Stolen from Mexico. I'd say that's an interesting list, considering 2 of the strongest films that are in there are not even the official submissions by their country. Titan beat out Petit Maman, which is interesting when you think about it, because Petit Maman is a technically family film that's like 71 minutes. Whereas Titan is definitely not for families, and probably just about 2 hours.
That movie is all about family. Okay.
Cue meme of Dominic Toretto just saying that weird group of like knockoffs going family. Yeah, I've just checked. Pebbles is India's submission, and Prayers for the Stolen is Mexico. So France and Spain may be regretting their decision now that the Independent Spirits went with films that aren't the submission. But a strong list either way. I've heard good things of at least Maman, Drive My Car, Parallel Mothers, and oh wow, compartment number 6 is now Estonian, Finnish, German, and Russian. Any other countries you want to give a contender for? What? AJ, your thoughts?
What was that?
Thoughts on the international film 6? Or is there none?
Did I miss something? was I spaced out at the wrong time?
I don't. And is there anything you think that like should be missing there? I don't think so. But
No, nothing comes to mind.
Owen's just gonna smile and nod. Yeah, there we go. For best editing, we have Achiara, The Nowhere Inn, Zola, Killing of Kenneth Chamberlain, and The Novice, which is the start of like a lot of love for Zola. Spoilers.
Yeah, I wasn't as big on Zola as everybody else, so I'm just really neutral to that.
Now, it's also a start of a lot of love for the Davis as well.
Yeah. That appears quite a bit as well. Zola has the most nominations overall, but yeah, Novice were well, not too far behind, and Lost Daughter either.
Real quick before we go any further, Brian says stars for Blind Spotting, which is a spinoff sequel to the 2018 film of the same name. Crypto is on the animated feature list for the Oscars, and Petite Maman is from the director that brought you Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Yeah, so it's weird after making such a long film, she decides to make a really short 17-minute film.
Fair assessment.
For cinematography, we have The Humans, Akiara, Passing, Blue Bayou, and Zola. I think, is this the only nomination? I think, yeah, this is the only nomination for Humans. After all the buzz months and months ago, it's just even the Independent Spirit Awards went, shall we stick it in cinematography? Yeah. So
I mean, it's a weird ass movie, but I will be doing that video like this week, so I'll be able to elaborate on that.
for documentary feature, aka, so which one's going to get snubbed by the Academy? We have Ascension, Flee, In the Same Breath, Procession, and Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised. I mean, there's two obvious contenders there, I would have thought.
I'm just really curious to see how many categories Flea ends up in. When you, I'm not sure if it lacks eligibility in any of those three as far as like the Oscar race, but when you look at the critics races, it has multiple wins in animated, foreign, and documentary. It's like showing up consistently in all three. So I'll be very curious where it ends up landing at the end of the
And
day.
also, in some cases, I've seen it nominated for picture outright, but it hasn't won. I think a few times as well.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I'm just wondering whether it's interesting because of all the publicity that Summer of Soul got like 10 months ago, with Questlove being the DJ for the night. Is that gonna be like, okay, we can't really vote for that, otherwise it will just be seen as, let's get somebody else that's doing a music documentary for next year and then we'll put them on and do the music. So, next up, at least in my list, because it's the only one that matters, the actual acting categories. Swifty Swift, in case Owen's trying to read through. So, for supporting
Trying to find it, yeah, good.
For supporting actress, we have Jessie Buckley for Lost Daughter, Amy Forsyth for Novice, Ruth Negga for Passing, Ravika Rustel for Pleasure, and Susanna Sun for Red Rocket.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable with the fact that this is like one of the only times we've seen Jessie Buckley's name so far, because I still feel like she's a total possibility in an extremely crowded category. But I guess we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pleased to see Ruth getting in as well, though. This adds possible credence to her being in contention for the main awards when they get announced over the upcoming week. So, because I'm just wondering, like, because I guess the problem with Lost Daughter is who's the bigger contender for supporting? Is it Dakota Johnson's performance or is it Jessie's?
I've only ever really, I haven't seen Dakota Johnson really mentioned much And I would think if, like I was saying before, if the book is any indication, Buckley's part should be a lot juicier.
Yeah, but the way they've been marketing it is they're really trying to put the three legs of the table. Like, we've got her, we've got her, we've got her. So we'll see. Supporting male, we have Coleman Domingo for Zola, Miko Gattuso for Queen of Glory, Troy Kotzer for Coda, Will Patton for Sweet Thing, and Chasky Spencer for Wild Indian.
It's very interesting to watch how consistent Troy Kotsur has been throughout the season already. So
Yeah,
he's basically, because Cody McPhee has most of the critic wins, but Troy Kotsur probably has the second most, which is still a fair amount, especially for a movie that seemed like it was kind of fading away like Coda initially was, but it seems to be very gradually coming back. But we'll uh, we'll get to talk a lot more about Coda later in this video.
before I get to the leads, do you want to go through some of the comments in chat, Owen, so we don't get too backlogged?
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff from both Brian and Josephine. Take a shot. Oh, come on, you slow machine. Anyway, so Brian says, I don't know if a hero, the hand of God, or the worst person in the world was eligible here. Josephine says, Anders Danielson Lai is my favorite supporting actor performance of the season, along with Vincent Linden for Titane. There is a really interesting Charles Schultz documentary on Apple, and Flea won International at the European Film Awards. Josephine says, imagine if Flea got in for editing. Editing can make or break a documentary. That's very true. Brian brings up Summer of Soul's director Questlove is a member of the Academy, but Summer of Soul could be too popular to get nominated like The Rescue, which the directors of that film are from the people that did Free Solo. Buckley's big chance would be at BAFTA. They could go British for supporting actors with Her, Nega, Balfe, and Dench. Fun fact of that lineup, I only see one of those, as of this moment, getting in at the Oscars. We'll get to that next week.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out how they do it, because obviously it's 6 now for the various acting categories, so yeah, it's possible. But I wouldn't be surprised if some of the smaller films get recognised just like they did last year with Rocks getting a lot of love. So we'll see. So on the leads, for male lead we have Clifton Collins Jr. for Jockey, Frankie Faison for The Killing of Kenneth Chamberlain, Michael Grey Eyes for Wild Indian, Udo Kier for Swan Song. Wow.
A different swan song.
Yeah, no, it's just the fact Udo Kier. He's been in God knows how many films. He was in weird softcore porn expose from like 1970, which involved somebody getting run over by a combined harvester. Random shit you see on TV stays with you.
I tend to associate Udo Kier with two things: Ace Ventura or Lars von Trier movies. Two completely opposite places. When he gets full body birthed in Von Trier's The Kingdom is one of those images that will never leave your mind for the rest of eternity, and I hate him for it.
Oh, great. I'm just looking at expose because I'm trying to remember about it. All re-releases on video and DVD have significant edits, so it's apparently still too controversial for broadcast over here. Wow. Jeez. But yeah, I want to say that Clifton is possibly the favourite here, Because if, Critics' Choice acknowledged him.
Yeah, because Frankie Faison won Gotham, but I've been feeling like this must suck for Clifton Collins Jr. because it just kind of sounds like it's one of those performances where like he could have gotten that Damien Bashir, here's a random indie movie getting nominated for Best Actor thing happening, except for the fact that it's in this year when that's pretty much impossible,
Yeah.
especially in that category. So that must suck.
Crowded for sure. And then on the female lead, we have Isabel Furman for Novice, Brittany S. Hall for Test Pattern, Patty Harrison for Together Together, Taylor Page for Zola, and Callie Reese for Catch the Fair One.
I know we're out of category and everything, and I had seen her name pop up a little bit, and I thought it might be the spirits would be the opportunity she would have, but the fact that there's no Gabby Hoffman here for Come On, Come On, I feel like that's telling. Honestly.
She just got a critic win today.
Very nice.
And so did it's worth noting Josie brought up Lyndon. Lyndon got a win at LA, I think, yesterday. Which is he tied with Cody Smith McPhee, but still it's a pretty big win. And Simon Rex got in won there too, which is very interesting.
Yeah. Well, no, what's interesting, AJ, is that I've seen that trailer theatrically. That's interesting.
You mean Red Rocket?
Yes. Josephine chimes in once again. Fun fact, Kirsten Dunst and Lars von Trier have the same birthday, May 12th. They're both Tauruses.
So they're connected by more than just that fateful day at Cannes, then.
Oh, boy. Fun fact, Clifton Collins Jr. is married to Clint Eastwood's daughter. Huh. The more you know.
So, jumping into the debut awards, for debut screenplay, we have Wild Indian, Test Pattern, Mass. What? This is going against the rules. Cicada, I guess, and Pig.
Wow, that's a 2-horse race right there, but it's the Spirit Award, so that may not be a correct statement.
I don't know. I've heard a lot of good things about Wild Indians, and maybe that is in with a shout as well.
Like I said, it's the Spirit Awards. There are a lot of things that normally would not be contending would probably be something you would think of.
Mass is already getting something, and Pig hopefully is already getting something. So maybe they might spread it around, I don't know. And then for Best First Feature, we have 7 Days, Holler, Jockey, Queen of Glory, and Test Pattern. I don't think there's that much to say because I'm confused that one of them is a 2019 film. I guess it, with all staggered releases and everything, it didn't come out until later officially. So that's why it's in there. On the screenplay front, we have Together Together, Lost Daughter, Zola, Come On Come On, and Swan Song.
And I assume that is also the swan song with
That's the Udo
Kia
Kier swan song. And Jennifer Coolidge. Clarify the situation.
I thank God no one heard what I said a little bit ago. It's funny.
Let's hope we get to the Oscars and both get nominated. And then for Best Picture. And then they have to go Swan Song. And then they just wait for both of them to get up. And then they just go, not you, the other ones. Come on.
So, yeah, usually usually you don't want to bet against Mike Mills in categories when it comes to screenplay, but I think this is a year that there's so many options that this may not be as much of an obviosity as it usually is.
And
Here,
I feel pretty comfortable betting on Maggie Gyllenhaal by now, but
yeah,
at a
same.
place like this, so
Oh, for sure.
because if I remember correctly, she basically walked out of Gotham the way Francis Ford Coppola walked out of the Oscars when Godfather 2 won everything, where he literally had them all in his arms. I assume it was something like that.
Like Ultimate Dragon with the 9 titles.
There's so many belts.
So many belts.
Speaking of, Best Director, we have Janicia Bravo for Zola, Maggie Gyllenhaal for Lost Daughter, Lauren Hadaway for The Novice, Mike Mills for Come On, Come On, and Ninja Feiberg for Pleasure.
Yeah.
So again, it's a strong list. And speaking of strong as well, the Best Feature. So we have Akiara, Come On, Come On, Lost Daughter, Novice, and Zola. It's a. Then again, of course, Akiara is interesting because it's Italian language. So maybe, if it was. Because is that. I don't think that's Italy's submission, is it? No, because it's Hand of God.
Yeah.
So it's weird that, like, it's an Italian production and everything. But. It's one that. Did it even. It didn't even make it in foreign film, did it? It didn't make it into international. No. So it gets all this. It gets 3 or 4 nominations. Yet doesn't get in the international film where you thought it would have stood its biggest chance because it's an Italian production on the whole. So weird.
That's what I was. That's just this whole thing where it's really hard to discuss the Spirit Awards because it's mostly stuff we won't have seen yet, and as far as their nominations go, they're not near as mathematical as others. So it's just a whole bunch of stuff that's all over the damn place. That
Very
that
true.
that ultimately will have a bit more predictable outcomes when they're actually given out because they not always, but more often than not, will fall in line with what has momentum when the wins come around, assuming movies with momentum and other award shows are at this one. So I would say we'd be like if this was like the '90s or something, I feel like Zola would be like a huge competitor here, but because we're kind of in an age of if you're one of the Oscar contenders, then you do well at the Spirit Awards, then this is obviously going to be like a Lost Daughter kind of show. If I
Totally.
for as much as they can give it, I know it'll be that whole thing where it was like, oh, it's weird they went so hard for the Lost Daughter but didn't nominate Coleman, and it's like that's just a Spirit Awards thing. That's very in line with what the Spirit Awards do.
Certainly. So, yeah. That is our discussion for the Spirit Awards, and the nominations are going to be discussed for our predictions in a few weeks, so get ready for that. Josephine has a couple more messages in chat. Imagine if someone mistook the movie Test Pattern as a movie about spirographs. That's funny. I like that. Native Americans are slowly rising with a start in indie cinema. Let's hope this progress continues. Indeed.
I think that's one of the best things Taylor Sheridan did. Sorry, with Wind River. Addressing an actual issue as well within the Native American community and everything as well. So, anyhow, well, now we switch to actually, ticking boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Or in my case, the thing that looks like the symbol for when you square root something. Because it's the closest thing to a tick in Excel.
All right. So let's go with the Golden Globes predictions.
So before we start this, I figure a question is looming in the air. Many questions, I'm sure, but what? Or a few questions in particular are looming in the air about how we
Would it
should go
help?
about this. Um, I guess the question when you look at who these potential winners could be, or if it matters, is what exactly their end goal is. Because there's a number of things here. They could go for the ones that are just really super hot right now, which means drama. Everything in the drama categories is between Squid Game and Succession, because Squid Game and Succession are really fucking hot right now as far as popularity goes. And it's like, do they just want to go with the more popular thing? Which one they think will be the most popular to kind of get their relevancy back? And then on top of that, also the whole idea of it's like I was saying before, these are actually, when you go through the movies and everything, these are really great nominees, pretty much. Like probably the best that the Globes could have done. But they still had that criticism of how much of this is them just saving face for the diversity thing. So it's like if they go like when assuming they would go with like, a lot of minority winners potentially, is that like are they really trying to do this, or are they just going to be trying to save face and picking their winners that way? It's There's a whole lot of questions in regards to what their end goal is here, because knowing the Globes, it's not, oh, we liked this one the best, because that's not really the way the Globes work. I mean, the
Right.
Globes have made some very inspired choices, like the Mauritanian stuff last year was kind of out of nowhere. But yeah, so that's all the questions at least I was asking when I was looking these over. I don't know about everybody else, but yeah. So are we starting this?
Yeah. So if we haven't, I'm making sure I'm got this correct before I say something stupid again. So this is our first predictions of the entire season, legitimately.
Yeah, properly.
We have not predicted anything. Well, technically speaking, we just predicted three of the really like off categories of the Spirit Awards out of nowhere, like Latino Man. But literally speaking, this is the first time we've done anything to play into the contest we do every single year. And every year we try to determine who's going to be the best at predicting. We go all the way into Oscar Sunday, and then we determine who is going to win. AJ's won, Ashley's won, I've won. Some of us have repeated, some of us haven't. Needless to say, we always have a fun time every year, and AJ brought this up, and it's very true. This season would be incredible if it wasn't for the fact that we were trying to predict things, because it's making us hate things that we shouldn't hate because it's there, because it's making things more difficult.
Yeah, we were talking about what was it, the Best Director Oscar race yesterday,
Yes,
and
that's
I was
correct.
like, I was genuinely starting to get stressed out, and it was like, oh no, I feel like it's going to be this really rich, successful person, but it could also be this really rich, successful person getting these honors. How stressful this is for us.
Yeah, that's like Troy was telling me today on the over Twitter. We were talking about the California trip. He said that is like, yeah, I've realized that 2 days at Disney, I don't have enough time to supercharge my Tesla. First world problems. I was like, well, that's the thing apparently. So
Sounds right.
shout out to the reason why I'm going to California in 17 days. So yeah, let's go into the Globes. Yeah, this could go either way. Honestly, let's do television, knock it out of the way, so I can actually talk and not just sit here and go for the rest of the time.
Yeah, so some of these I'm just going to like basically be flipping a coin in real time because I couldn't decide between Squid Game and Succession.
That's the
But
same where I am too.
so are we starting with supporting actress in
Sure.
a just in
Well, yeah,
TV in general?
supporting
Uh,
actress is just, they give up.
well, we've got Jennifer Coolidge for The White Lotus, Caitlin Dever for Dope Sick, Annie McDowell for Maid, Sarah Snook for Succession, and Hannah Waddingham for Ted Lasso. If Ted Lasso's here, Ted Lasso can win. That's the way it is in every category that it's in.
Absolutely.
I was also considering Caitlin Dever, but I was also considering Sarah Snook just based on Succession's popularity. Despite it weirdly being its only nomination, I think I'm still gonna go with Jennifer Coolidge. Because it's just a really showy one, and it was such a big deal at the time that it seems to have somewhat been overshadowed by the new stuff that's come out. But yeah, I almost want to feel like it might be like a bit of a correcting that this was the only thing the White Lotus got, because that's still just weird and kind of unacceptable. So yeah, so I'm gonna go with Jennifer Coolidge.
What do you got, Ashley?
Up until about 30 seconds ago, I was going with Caitlin. But then I realised Andy McDowell and Maid has been within the top 3 of Netflix's charts, at least if you look at their own produced graphics and everything and stats, for like 11 or 12 straight weeks now. So, because I feel more comfortable about it going in here than in the other category because of what probably is going to happen, I'm going to say Andy McDowell for this one.
So it's funny, and AJ knows how I battle with how I really do these predictions every single time. I kind of do them on the spur of the moment, and sometimes it comes off like I'm copying, and I'm really not. The immediate thought process I had before AJ opened his mouth was to go with Caitlin Dever here. And it's always a good idea to trust your first instinct. So Jennifer Coolidge was my next go-to. And I was thinking about going that route, and only literally looking at these predictions for the, I think, second time? Because I've not really looked at them. I mean, I got them at work, so I remember I glanced over them. AJ read them to me over the phone. And this is the first time I've ever actually looked at them, like fully, when I've been able to focus. Anything Ted Lasso's nominated for, yeah, it's a possibility. Anything Succession's nominated for, that's a possibility. The Andy McDowell thing, that's a good idea, honestly. But yeah, you might as well trust your first instinct, or I'm going to kick myself. I'm going to go with Caitlin Dever for Dope Sick.
No, it's one because Dope Sick has also been a big deal, but a part of me was always wondering, like, did I almost go with Caitlin Dever because I just want Caitlin Dever to win something. she's already done so incredibly well with her career. I just want to see her win something.
I believe that is the case, honestly.
And of course, the other issue is at least in terms of Ted Lasso, this is the end of its run, because of course it did quite well at the Emmys a few months back. Whereas I think the other 4 are all stuff that's only just been after the Emmys eligibility period. So they'll be showing up like in 7-8 months' time at the 2022 Emmys. So it's always that interesting crossover point of like, do they go with what's already established, or do they actually want to sort of give somebody momentum to move into the new season, depending how you look at where the season starts and ends in terms of TV. I guess it ends with the Emmys, maybe, but it's always that problem, the wash, like what's moving forward with the tide, what's moving back.
Quick in chat, binaural Dean, welcome to chat. Gives the peace sign. Brian says, Andy McDowell brings me back on watching Groundhog Day. Yes. Honestly, if I was looking at things, I would probably do that just on that alone.
I say, please tell me that comment was written like 5 times.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bri, in 5 minutes' time, just randomly type that again. And then 5 minutes after that. Oh, and Bri does mention as well that Caitlin was AJ's best actress for Booksmart a few years back.
That's right.
Yes, he is. That's the reason why he is the historian of the podcast network. Josephine chimes in. It's Caitlin Deaver's birthday tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
Nice. So,
Supporting
yeah.
actor.
That's...
All right. I do not have this one predetermined, so here we fucking go.
Oh, boy.
We have Billy Crudup for The Morning Show, Kieran Culkin for Succession, Mark Duplass for The Morning Show, Brett Goldstein for Ted Lasso, and Oh Young-soo for Squid Game. The only person I wasn't considering, tragically, was Mark Duplass, which is a shame because we love Mark Duplass. So, directing, acting, writing, I love him, but I don't think he's in this. So once again, Goldstein was sticking out to me because Ted Lasso could always win if it's up for something. But like I was saying, if Succession and Squid Game are here, I have it narrowed down to Squid Game and Succession. So I was actually watching Home Alone 2 in the background while I was trying to figure this out. So I took that as a sign.
Yes.
Literally, the opening scene I was walking around when Fuller walks by with the Coke can was around the time I was thinking, I wonder if Kieran Culkin's gonna take this. Like he literally appeared.
It's all... Yeah, it seems like you need to jump on that.
I guess I was really, really thinking about going to a lot. But I'll say fuck and I'll go with Kieran Culkin. Maybe I'll try to compromise and kind of split up Succession and Squid Game. Maybe that'll help. But we'll see. So I'll go with Kieran Culkin. Why not?
Ashley, what do you got? Supporting actor.
I went with Culkin as well. Just because the fact that I can't remember when I think it was Eric Anderson's tweet when it says I'd like to thank the Emmys already for giving their actor and actress awards to Brian Cox and Kieran Culkin and the rest of the cast. So it must have been a good season. Not like the other two weren't either. But yeah. I'm going to go with Kieran.
Yeah, as much as I love my Almost Famous, and I'd love to go that reference, at this point, there's really only one answer here, and I'm going to go with the panel here. It's Kieran Culkin.
Okay, so we just totally jinxed him, right?
Oh, absolutely, we did.
If we're going to jinx him at one, we'll jinx him on the one that nobody cares about, even though I really don't want the only award that Oh Young-soo wins to be the one that people don't give a shit about.
If anything, the one that's a scarlet letter of all things.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, this is a really fun category we're coming up on.
Oh yeah.
Because
welcome to Best Actress, aka Bloodbath.
Two people in this category really, really want this win. So we are doing actress in a miniseries or TV movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's miniseries. We have Jessica Chastain for Scenes from a Marriage, Cynthia Erivo for Genius, Elizabeth Olsen for WandaVision, Margaret Qualley for Maid, and Kate Winslet for Mare of Easttown. When the Globe nominations came out, and celebrities were avoiding them like the plague, not even bringing them up at all, at least two people, carried on the tradition of thanking them publicly on social media. And those two people were Jessica Chastain and Cynthia Erivo. Both of them really, really want this, apparently.
Not even Kate, despite the fact that arguably she's the front runner?
I was leaning towards her, but it's like, assuming the Globes haven't changed that much, they're gonna still want to give it to the people that are willing to put them over. So yeah. I immediately narrowed it down to Chastain and Erivo. And basically a flip of a coin, more or less, I said Chastain. Because Chastain, I love Chastain so much. But Chastain also loves to put herself out there. Which is exactly what the Globes want. So, I'll say Chastain.
Okay. What do you got, Ashley?
Winslet. Winslet is just... I if they aren't going to do a second season, they're going to acknowledge it somewhere. And they didn't decide to have Evan Peters in, so it's got to get something.
Now, part of me here wants to go with what is going to be crowd pleasing, but the thing about it is, this is the Globes right now. They may want to do that just so they can try to get some heat off of them. So going with Elizabeth Olsen here may not be a bad bet. But that's not what I'm doing. Margaret Qualley's been popping up in my Twitter mentions like every 5 minutes lately, so it's kind of like that's fresh in my head. Because always Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is running through my head at all times anyway, so there you go. Especially reading the book. I will say right now that, yeah, I'm with AJ on this one. It was down to the two, and as much as I'm not exactly sure if it's going to work out to her advantage for actress at this point, with the race being as tight as it is, I'm also going to go with Jessica Chastain for Scenes from a Marriage. The one review that will never show up on the Popcast network, apparently, at this rate. It's okay. I still had a poster on there, so at least I took the initiative, so there you go. Finally deleted it this morning.
I was just secretly hoping that like one of us would go for Aretha, and then we go Aretha Franklin won, but not Jennifer Hudson. After everything that was behind that at the start of the season, it's instead the National Geographic one that is just as controversial, apparently, to the family as the other one.
I just want to see David Otunga on the red carpet.
I'm pretty sure they're not together anymore, but
yeah,
it doesn't matter. He can still sneak on there. It's okay.
He'll still show up.
So I do know, because I was actually going. You mentioned Olsen for a second. I almost went with Olsen because I could see them doing that for popularity. I could see them doing that for popularity points.
And if they go with that, I'm gonna be so mad at myself.
But what's interesting also is something I brought up when we did our video where we were just talking about these nominees, which is it will be interesting if they go with somebody from Scenes from a Marriage, since Scenes from a Marriage is literally just the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
But interestingly enough, it's not the series itself isn't nominated, which is interesting. But sometimes that stuff just doesn't add up anyway. So
Sure.
Crazier shit has happened.
Josephine wants to know: has anyone seen Igby Goes Down?
This Igby goes down. Yes, I love this movie very much.
I think you'll find the answer is maybe.
Josephine's mom watched it the other day, thought it was very good. Does mention that Mark Duplass and Katie Hazelton are one of my favorite celebrity couples.
If only Black Rock wasn't one of the worst movies ever. Otherwise, that's very true.
Wow.
It's the one misstep in their careers, just one. I'd say they're doing okay.
Well, from actress to actor.
Actor in a miniseries. I'm not sure what The Serpent is. But, yeah. We have Paul Bettany for WandaVision, Oscar Isaac for Scenes from a Marriage, Michael Keaton for Dopesick, Ewan McGregor for Halston, and Tara Rahim for The Serpent. Isn't Halston also fashion related? Fashion related stuff is like really in this year.
Oh yeah.
I only paid attention to it when it won the Emmy. I was like, wait, this came out?
So my eye immediately went to Oscar Isaac. And once again, I don't know if that's just something that I want, because not only is Oscar Isaac really great in Scenes from a Marriage, but he's in my favorite movie of the year right now, and he gives my favorite performance of the year in The Card Counter, which is a different movie from my favorite movie of the year. Oscar Isaac is having one of the best years ever.
Dude!
And this is the closest he could come to walking away with something, sadly. In a perfect world, he'd be sweeping for The Card Counter, but we don't live in that world, of course. Honestly, just kind of looking around, I landed on Michael Keaton,
Okay.
and I don't really know how to explain that. It's just a feeling that I have.
Okay.
So so I'm going with Keaton.
What do you got, Ashley?
I'm following the Emmys and going with McGregor for Holston.
I hate when we have to copy because it's the first thing that popped into my head, and anybody that knows me personally, and you guys should know by now how long we've been doing this. Anytime Ewan's up for anything, I'm going to go with him, no matter if I believe it or not. And like AJ said, it's in vogue, pun not intended, to be all about fashion right now. So yeah, Ewan McGregor for Halston.
Well, he won for Fargo, so we know they like him.
Oh, most definitely.
All right, so are we finishing with miniseries?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, we can move up there. That's fine.
We got Dope Sick, Impeachment, Made, Mayor of Easttown, The Underground Railroad. Obviously, once again, especially with the Emmy showing, your mind kind of immediately jumps to Mayor of Easttown. I still think it's weird Evan Peters isn't here, but all right. The thing here is that Mayor of East Impeachment, I feel like would have been in the running, but it's kind of weird that nobody's here for it, especially Sarah Paulson.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. And as far I think the reason I'm not immediately jumping on Mayor of Easttown is, like we were saying, we know how the Globes operate, and there's a lot of other new kids in town that might be kind of taking the heat away from Mayor of Easttown. So just based on that, I said Dope Sick. With not a lot of confidence, but yeah.
Sure. Ashley?
I decided to stick with Mayor of Easttown. Even though they are giving it to Winslet, and they could, if they wanted to spread the awards about, they could. But I'm gonna stick with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like Maid jumped out at me like early on, and then I thought about it and I was like, I didn't really give anything. It's like you don't have to have an acting performance to win this category, so me not going with Andy McDowell would be fine. But yeah, I did have. It's funny because I say that because I'm contradicting myself because I'm going with an acting performance here because I gave Caitlin Deaver the win, so I'm going to give Dope Sick the actual win overall.
All right, the comedy categories.
Yes.
All right, we'll do actress in a comedy series. I guess the question is it the person who has the new show or the person whose show is ending, if I remember correctly?
Yeah.
We have Hannah Einbinder for Hacks, Elle Fanning for The Great, Issa Rae for Insecure, Tracy Ellis Ross for Blackish, and Jean Smart for Hacks. I mean, if they're going to go with somebody for Hacks, I assume it's Jean Smart. And if I remember correctly, this is the end of Insecure, right?
Yeah.
So I put it down. I narrowed it down to the two of them, and I went with Issa Rae. The end.
What do you got, Ashley?
Yeah, I think, like you mentioned, AJ, with the diversity thing, I think they don't. I don't want to say make it too white, but considering that was the issue in the first place, I wouldn't be surprised if they acknowledge it because Insecure's been a steady, secure, good stuff from her over the past, I think it's 5 seasons, is it, or 4? Can't remember.
I have no idea.
So, I go with Issa Rae as well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense to me, and I'm going to go with it as well. So yeah, I thought about Elle Fanning here as and because it's always a good choice to bet on the great here, but nah, not this time around. It's going to be Issa Rae.
It's also worth noting, I'm pretty sure we've mentioned this before, but just to mention it again, we have talked before about how we've been talking a lot about how this is how the Globes think as a collective.
Mm.
When we've had to talk before about how a lot of people mistakenly think of the Oscars that way, when the Oscars is like thousands and thousands of voters. but the body for the Globes is so small that it really is believable that they can kind of come together and have one collective mind. So just to throw that out there as well.
I've also just looked into it. Uh, Blackish's final season starts January 4th.
Huh.
Technically, that, well, I guess with eligibility, that could technically be up for next year as well because of the release period. So it might not
That's
be
what I would
it
think.
might not be the end for Blackish. It's definitely the end for. Well,
We'll see if Anthony Anderson can finally get that win. Because I don't think Anthony Anderson's won yet, has he?
I don't think so. Hang on, quick.
I don't believe so.
Quick, have a look.
Because I think I remember correctly. I've gone for him many years, and he's always burned me. So
Yeah, wasn't even nominated last year. Or 2019, or 2018. 27 lost to Aziz Ansari. 2016 lost to Donald Glover. That's it. So he's actually only been nominated 3 times over the 7 seasons.
Well, speaking of actor in a comedy series, we have Anthony Anderson for Blackish, Nicholas Hoult for The Great, Steve Martin and Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building, and Jason Sudeikis. I love that Steve Martin and Martin Short are here,
yes,
but which one of you people is crazy enough to not say Jason Sudeikis? Raise your hand. Because I'm going to say Jason Sudeikis.
Ashley, are we crazy?
We Ted stands now.
Yeah, Jason Sudeikis here for sure.
I mean, of course, by giving him actor as well, you're basically acknowledging all the writing that he's doing on it as well.
All right, should we end the comedy categories quickly?
Yes.
All right, for series in comedy, we have The Great, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, Reservation Dogs, and Ted Lasso. Is anybody not going to say Ted Lasso?
Hang on, let me check. Yeah, I was going with Ted Lasso as well.
Part of me wants to go Only Murders in the Building so they could give it something. But I'm going to go with Ted Lasso.
It should be What We Do in the Shadows, but you know.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. Reservation Dogs is the Taika Waititi thing, right?
Yeah, they went with the wrong one.
Well, shit. I forgot I didn't do any of the drama categories in advance, so this will be a party. Are we ready?
Go ahead.
All right, we're almost done with TV. We're almost
Thank
there.
God. Take
All
it
right.
home.
Let's do actress. Where we have
Okay.
Uzo Aduba for In Treatment, Jennifer Aniston for The Morning Show, Kristen Baranski for The Good Fight, Elizabeth Moss for The Handmaid's Tale, and MJ Rodriguez for Pose. Had it down to Aniston and Rodriguez. Couldn't tell you why, I just do. I really wanted to say Aniston, but then like every time I almost decide on her, I go back to Rodriguez. I honestly cannot. I don't know. I really, really don't know. I think that I will say. Oh, fuck. It's gonna be. It's gonna be neither one. It's gonna be Uzo Aduba, probably. So, I'm going to say. Aston.
Ashley.
If you're acknowledging the end of a series, you normally give out the awards then, so that's why I went with MJ Rodriguez.
They really love Uzo Aduba, obviously, for Orange is the New Black. So I could honestly see this happening. But yeah, I don't know why. And the fact that everyone in the world seems to think it's the second coming of Slumdog Millionaire and Jesus Christ and John Cena rolled up into one. I'm going with Aniston here.
All right, actor.
Mhm. Cool.
Jeez. I'm sorry,
I,
Omar. I'm sorry, Omar Sy, but you're not in this.
Nope.
Hmm. We got Brian Cox for Succession, Lee Jung-jae for Jesus Christ, Squid Game, Billy Porter for Pose, Jeremy Strong for Succession, and Omar Sy for Lupin. Um, Honestly, between the Succession guys, I was actually leaning towards Jeremy Strong because he's been getting a lot of press lately for his method acting, and people like for some reason people having to jump to his defense or something because there was like some article written about him and like because he's been doing the method acting thing for a while, and that's like his reputation now. He's basically trying to be Day-Lewis now that Day-Lewis is retired. Uh, but I mean, it very well could be Cox also. But I had it narrowed down to Jeremy Strong and Lee Jung-jae. And I think I was leaning towards Lee Jung-jae, actually. So, like I said, just kind of splitting up the love between Squid Game and Succession is, I feel like, the best I can do. So, I'm going to go ahead and say Lee Jung-jae, I think.
All right. What do you got, Ashley?
Brian Cox. The powerhouse. It's why the series is so good.
Well, to give away what I wanted to do here without giving it away, I guess I will give it away. So you're talking about spreading the love, and obviously already given Kieran Culkin the award for Succession, and I'm leaning another route for actual drama, and I didn't go with. I went a different direction in actress. So I'm going to go ahead and go out in left field here, and I'm going to give my actor to Billy Porter.
I mean, he should be stricken from the record because of that Cinderella movie, but we'll give him one pass, and that's it.
Remember every year I talk about how like people cancel each other out and it never comes to fruition? If Omar Sy's not in this, the Succession guys cancel each other out, and Squid Game may be something else I go for later on. So it was the only option for me.
The only problem is Porter was the only good bit about Cinderella, right?
I'm really sorry. I don't remember any good bits. No.
Wow.
Wait. Acaster and Ramesh are in it. That's it.
Yeah, but does that outweigh the Corden? No, does not. God damn it.
Oh my god, I completely forgot he was the other mouse.
How? He was promoting that shit every bloody week. Jesus Christ.
You had to wind him up, AJ, every single time.
No, this is Billy
Next,
Porter's
we're going to
fault.
bring up Clifford the Big Red Dog and bloody Jack Whitehall.
No. Oh my god. I'll say this, and AJ will get it. How can a television show be worth this much embarrassment? I've said that so much lately, and now it actually makes sense. So there you go. Jay makes you are the man. Don't tell me otherwise.
Let's
see you in a
end
week.
this TV discussion.
Take this home.
For drama series, we have Lupin, The Morning Show, Pose, Squid Game, Succession. Obviously, I have it down to Squid Game and Succession. I've been thinking about it while we've been going through actor here. They can go with the really popular show, or they can go with the really popular and diverse show. And if they're really trying to save face, and that's the whole purpose of even doing this to begin with, I'm going to say Squid Game.
What do you got, Ashley?
Pose.
Squid Game. So, before we go into the stuff that I actually know anything about, let's go into chat real quick. Josephine says, hot take. I thought WandaVision was overrated. It started off good, but then it fell off the wagon after episode 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I am. Yeah. I mean, it has some great emotional moments in those later episodes, but they really had a magic at the beginning that when you could see them going away from that concept, it was like, oh, okay, we know where this is going now, and then it kind of lost its magic a little bit.
Josephine loved Mayor of Easttown, wished the Underground Railroad actress was getting more accolades. Brian says unless Porter is in a big Oscar movie to try to get his EGOT. And Josephine chimes in, Daniel Day is a big fan of Naked and Afraid. All right. That's a thing. AJ disappeared. AJ, we've noticed that Ashley's disappeared again, so like he's so like flabbergasted by that mere statement, he just had to disappear off camera for a minute. So I was like, yeah, he has to regain his composure. So this is the uncomfortable silences we have in the middle of the show.
This is like I feel like that shot of Stifler in American Pie after Oz left the lacrosse game, and they just cut back to him, and he's like, I don't think he's coming back.
He has to. He's the guy that's in charge of the stream.
No, Mina Savari was more important.
Depending on who you're asking.
I guess we should decide while we're waiting for him to come back, we need to decide which music category is coming first. Song or score?
Order ski I've got is actually... Well, actually, I have Best Foreign Language Film is first anyway for my list. Thanks, I go to the Wikipedia list, so...
I think we're gonna do song first.
Alright.
I will name these very slowly while we wait. Our song categories happen to be there's Be Alive from King Richard. Because Lord knows Beyonce needs more wins for her ego. That's what we need.
No.
We have the song from Encanto. Is that how are we pronouncing this? I haven't taken Spanish for like 12 years.
I never did and never watched the movie, but I believe it's Dos Orugutis.
I don't think that's it at all, but we'll go with it. Then we have Down to Joy from Belfast, Here I Am from Respect, and No Time to Die from No Time to Die.
AJ, of course, sped up quickly when Ashley showed up on camera.
I'm going with fucking Be Alive.
What do you got, Ashley?
Dos Oruguitas.
There we go. I want to go with Billie Eilish here, but I'm like, that's an Oscar pick. That's not a Globes pick.
That could be a Globes pick. I can see that.
Yeah, this might be the only time Jennifer Hudson wins too.
It's really funny you say that, and I hate to like bring up all of Ashley's open wounds, but I remember.
Oh, geez,
where is this going? Hang on.
You talk about James Corden. We know Brian, you know exactly where we're going with this.
Well, here's the thing. It's because you said no. That's an Oscar pick. Because when Sam Smith took this, I remember my immediate thought was, "Oh, that doesn't mean anything. That's such a Globes move. That doesn't mean anything."
Fantastic. Good Lord. All right, Ashley, what do you got? Best original song?
Dos Oruguitas.
Yeah.
Jesus.
See.
Right.
Lin-Manuel's winning an Oscar some fucking how, whether it's his film or his songs. He's doing it. Damn it.
I don't want Beyonce to win anything else. But I know that King Richard could be huge at the Globes, and I can see that happening. You know what? We talked about like visibility and everything like that. It makes sense for Miranda or Beyonce to win. I think Van Morrison's out of this completely. This may be the only thing Belfast can't have a chance to win. Well, maybe I'm still butthurt about the fact we lost the maze. So, I mean, I don't think I can go with Billy and Phineas here. I'm gonna go with Jennifer Hudson here. It's a very Globe-like pick to go with, and I don't think it goes further than that. But I would not be shocked if anything wins this category.
All right, score. For score, we have The French Dispatch, Encanto, The Power of the Dog, Parallel Mothers, and Dune. I was this close to going with Encanto. I actually pretty much practically put the marking there.
Okay.
And I thought, if there's one category that's low enough to where I can just go with what I want it to be, I'll do that. So, so I said Zimmer.
Ashley.
Radiohead. Okay, context. Johnny Greenwood.
No, I know what it is, but I mean, I think you lost a lot of us there. AJ brought up going with something that I want to win versus what could win, and the fact that, spoiler alert, there's not much play for it when you actually get to the actual nominations, which I'm not happy about. Yeah, Desplat wins this.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've got Desplat doing a Wes Anderson movie, and I've seen Parallel Mothers show up in a couple of mentions as far as like critic awards in this category. Honestly, any of these feel like they could happen. Like all 5 of them feel possible.
I think that's going to be, weirdly enough, just thinking about it, that's probably going to be the case for a lot of these nominations. Like, for example, if we talked about song category, all 5 could potentially win. Just like all 5 scores could potentially win.
So what did you go
quick.
with? Sorry, I was AFH.
Of course I went with Desplat.
Okay.
Duh.
Brian
says Diane. I mean, come on, it's me we're talking about here. If I'm going to give I have to give the French Dispatch something because I'm not going to be able to do it much this season. Brian says Diane Warren was mad when she lost to Sam Smith. Yeah, everybody should be mad to lose to Sam Smith. He's better now, though. It's weird. He's actually a good artist now once you get him away from his other stuff. I don't know these things. I don't know these gimmicks. I'm sorry. I feel bad about that. We'll just call him Sam Smith, which is ironic because I have another Sam Smith in my life that's also a day. So there you go. That makes sense.
It's like Swan Song.
I'm trying to roll out of this category. I've yet to see Parallel Mothers, but I love that the composer is here. He's been a collaborator of Almodovar for so long. Love the score for 9 days. And to balance things out, I would have loved if the Globes and the Oscars gave Encanto the song and Flea or a non-Disney film animated feature.
Speaking of,
wouldn't be the first time. Not happening this year, but continue.
Are we gonna do foreign now?
No. After Ashley just mentioned
it's only because in my list. It's only because in my list, foreign language and animated, like on the Wikipedia page, are like somehow at the bottom. Because
where I am too. Continue.
Yeah, I'm happy to go with foreign because we just say drive my car, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, but we have compartment number 6, Drive My Car, The Hand of God, A Hero, and Parallel Mothers. I don't think A Hero or Parallel Mothers are impossible choices.
Nope.
But I feel like, once again, if we're going to, because we always have that conversation where foreign can always be a surprise winner. But I feel like Drive My Car is going to be the one that's kind of here consistently throughout, unless something else is going to, make some surprise move. But I'm just going to bet on Drive My Car and leave it at that, because...
Ashley?
Hang on, I'm trying to make the joke of, was Drive My Car the Beatles A-side or B-side till we can work it out? So, yeah, that one.
I think Drive My Car this year, winning Best Foreign Language Film at the Globes, when the GP see this, they're going to be like, wow, I didn't know what that was. That's great. That's shocking. I thought it was going to be Parallel Mothers or Hand of God or A Hero, things I've always heard about. But Drive My Car, that's so weird. It won't be for long. You're going to see a lot of visibility for this movie for this season, and I feel that this is when it starts. Drive My Car.
It hasn't started already.
Televised award shows, this is when it starts.
Once again, not exactly.
Well, it's going to be somewhere. I mean, it's going to be on TMZ or something. I'm sure they'll get the rights. Anyway, some Mark will put it on TikTok or something. Who knows? That's what the idiots do nowadays. Continue.
Animated.
Okay.
We have Encanto, Flea, Luca, My Son-in-Law, and Ryan the Last Dragon. I'm gonna say Encanto since Mitchell's vs. Machines isn't here.
Oh. Comedy for one is still comedy. Ashley, what do you got?
Right studio, wrong film. I went with Ryan the Last Dragon.
It'd be very bold if the Globes would go with Flea here, and I could see this potentially happening maybe in another year. But Encanto is very well loved, and it's something that I could see winning a lot this season. Now we talk about how the Annies don't mean nothing at this point, but they don't go for Disney, they don't go for Pixar fairly often. I feel that this year they're going to kind of turn the corner on that a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to go with Encanto here.
Have they announced the Annies yet?
No, I think Brian brought it up last show, but I don't recall when it's supposed to be.
Guess when the Annie nominations are. Tomorrow.
Go ahead. Of course. Makes perfect sense.
It's interesting, though, that from the other major studios that did put films out, I'm trying to think of that one that's the Sony/China did. From the same people that did Abominable. There was one like that. I'm surprised that isn't sort of more a contender rather than just. I think 3 Disney films might be a record for the Globes, because normally there's other studios. So, and of course, Raya and Luca certainly didn't get a cinema release at all, did it? They literally just stuck that on Disney Plus.
I think it did. I think I remember being out of town and seeing it on somebody's marquee.
Anyway.
That it for animated?
Yep. Let's do this.
Should we do screenplay?
Oh God, yeah.
All right. For screenplay, because they're combined, we have Licorice Pizza, Belfast, Power of the Dog, Don't Look Up, Being the Ricardos. AKA PTA, Branagh, Campion, McKay, Sorkin. They might as well mail the Oscar for adapted to Campion right now. I feel like unless Maggie Gyllenhaal is going to come from out of nowhere, I feel like that is sealed up. But she's here with PTA and Branagh.
Yep.
And I wish Belfast was as strong as a contender as it was at one point, but I don't know anymore. But you know who else has been doing really good screenplay-wise as far as like wins we've had already is Licorice Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And the argument could be they didn't put him in director, which is a little odd, but I don't think that's influencing my choice here. While The Power of the Dog might as well have adapted screenplay sewn up, I'm leaning towards Licorice Pizza, and I think that's what I'm going to go with.
All right. Ashley, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going with Licorice Pizza as well because I think I'd have to look through the history, but I think the Globe seem to appreciate the original ones more because you're obviously going off original ideas rather than adaptations. I'll look up the stats for it while you give your prediction.
Well, I mean, I could go, and I will go. So while you do that, I'll go into my little spiel here. Now, everyone knows that I have been a big supporter of Aaron Sorkin and Being the Ricardos. I've done a lot with it. Before I even saw the movie, absolutely loved the movie too. That being said, this is a category that really is another any of these five could foreseeably win. They're not going to, but they could. Like, I think Adam McKay is a strong contender here too. But as much as I hate to say it, they would knock them out immediately if you want to really think about it. Campion is strong. She's got it pretty much locked under key at this point. But I don't think she can beat Branagh and PTA. So let's say she's out. And having not seen the movie yet, but extremely excited and already getting broken to tears by the trailer itself, makes me know that this is going to be an impactful movie. Belfast got me too, and for the same reason for different things. That being said, yeah, at this point, just because he's not in director, I don't think means anything, like AJ alluded to, and I don't think that that's going to be something that continues him not to be in director, but we'll get to that later on. Yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza.
Historian news from me. The last time adapted screenplays got the Globe was 2007 for No Country for Old Men and 2008 The Slumdog Millionaire. I think everything since 2009, so Up in the Air, Social Network, Midnight in Paris, Django, Her, Birdman, Steve Jobs, La La Land, Three Billboards, Green Book, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Trial of Chicago 7, I think were all original.
I love almost all of those.
Social Network's adapted, and I think Steve Jobs is adapted.
It's adapted.
Both the Sorkins.
Which is weird, because like Trial of Chicago 7, which you'd have thought was adapted, was actually original.
Oh, chats. Oh, my dad. I missed a lot of things. I'm sorry, everyone. Josephine says, I love the score for Detain. Brian says, get out me car. Josephine says, drive my car. Won Best Picture at LA Film Critics Circle. I think we talked about it a little ago. Josephine says, when it comes to Criterion Channel soon, she hopes that happens. So Lorraine says something that she talked about on Twitter, and now she solidified it. I put Drive My Car in the Best Picture lineup.
Yeah, I'm really thinking about how I'm trying to, like, right now, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do that, because I feel like I'm probably going to do that.
I've done so many flipping, I don't foreseeably do that until something changes, because there's something I probably could bump out, but I'm not going to until I absolutely have to. Brian says, Wish Dragon, 2 years ago, Disney got 3 with Frozen 2, Toy Story 4, and The Lion King, and it went to Missing Link, which Ashley got correct.
Lion King is not an animated film. Fuck that shit. That's cheating. Also, I like the fact Bri referenced like a Vine from like 10 years ago. Down the car! What the fuck? Oh, Josephine with another one.
Yep, go ahead.
Matt Neglia from the Next Best Picture pointed out that there's a big correlation with having a Globe screenplay nod and winning Best Picture. Yeah, fucking Green Book.
Yeah. AJ said, and I'll give him credit for it because he said it first. And I'm going to go ahead and, because we had a conversation about this, and it's very, very true. So if it happens, then you heard it here first. We talk about how right now there's all the love for Belfast, and then it kind of goes away a little bit. Now Power of the Dog is like what everybody's looking at. West Side Story kind of like on the outside looking in at this point. AJ brought this up. I 100% agree. If you want to talk about a dark horse for Best Picture, I feel like all the pieces will be in place to say Licorice Pizza is going to be your challenger. And this could be where it actually starts. Now, granted, this award show doesn't mean as much as it used to. But again, it's that one word I talked about last week that I'll say every single week moving forward. Visibility. And visibility is a great thing to have in this award season. But speaking of categories the PTA should be in and is not, Best Director.
Yeah, normally I try to do this category later, but I feel like for the sake of not getting confused later, we'll just do it now.
Fair. Good idea.
We got Kenneth Branagh for Belfast, Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog, Maggie Gyllenhaal for The Lost Daughter, Spielberg for West Side Story, and Denis Villeneuve for Dune. Know who I want to say. But, once again, at some point in this year, this could have been Branagh's easily. And it's kind of tragic. It's kind of tragic that it might not be. Campion's running away with Critics Awards. Like I said, we see a runaway in Critics Awards all the time that ultimately gets stopped at these awards. But she's always there. Maggie Gyllenhaal's just happy to be here. I would love to say. I would love to say Villeneuve, but and I'm not entirely sure who like if I had to pick an Oscar pick right now, I don't know who it would be. Honestly, if I had to pick an Oscar pick right now, it'd probably be PTA. But depending on what happens with Licorice Pizza as we go on further into the season.
Certainly.
But because I don't think Licorice Pizza has peaked yet.
That's not even close.
But I just what feels like such a Globe win here would be Spielberg. I feel pretty confident saying Spielberg here. And like I said, I'm not saying this is going to be some Spielberg sweep for the season. I'm just saying right here, right now, I really feel like they would go with Spielberg. So that's what I'm saying.
Ashley, what do you got?
Pretty much what AJ said. Considering how much of a labor of love it has been for him to try and make it, if this is the only place it's going to get a chance, I think they'll take it and give it to him.
Yeah, I hate the fact that it had to go this way, but yeah, I mean, I've been thinking it since I first looked at these nominations, and as much as I want to see Villeneuve win this and knock him out of the race for the running for Best Director, I think this is Spielberg's award to win, and I don't really see much like literal competition here. I think he's gonna win this award. This may, like Ashley alluded to, this may be his only like big win this season. But it's still, again, visibility for West Side Story, which is something they're going to need if they go with anything else in the acting categories, which we'll get to it later.
How? Don't they need it right now? It's lost all its screens to Spider-Man and Matrix and... Well, I was going to say Kingsman, but Kingsman can't get the good screens because Spider-Man and Matrix has taken all of them, so... I know at my local, they're literally doing, like, one showing. This week that we're currently in, and I don't think they're even showing it next week.
Makes sense. Don't have the screens for it.
Weird release strategy from Disney, that's all I'm saying.
Real quick, chat. See if I'm missing anything. I thought I saw something. Nope, we're not. Continue.
Supporting actress.
Oh boy.
Oh, Owen, just to clarify, I'm guessing you went with Sorkin for screenplay?
No, I didn't. I went with PTA.
Okay. So I was trying to keep track of other stuff, sorry. Too many things going on at once.
It's fine, you're good.
Yeah, supporting actress.
Thought about it. Go ahead.
All right. For supporting actress, we have Katrina Balfe for Belfast, Ariana DeBose for West Side Story, Kirsten Dunst for The Power of the Dog, Ingenue Ellis for King Richard, and Ruth Negga for Passing. I've been talking about how much of a bloodbath it is, probably more so than it's maybe ever been in this category, to get in.
Totally.
Um, and while that is still the case, I feel like we're getting pretty close to a clear-cut winner, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I initially was kind of going away from it because it's like, oh well, somebody already won for this part, and it's like, is that going to be like, how much are people going to care? But that's before I was thinking that before West Side Story was the holy shit, this is one of the really big players this season movie.
Mm-hmm.
So as it goes on, it seems like more and more and more the complete and total takeover in this category is Ariana DeBose. So
Yep.
that's I'm very comfortable. This is a great lineup, but I am easily saying her. So
What do you got, Ashley?
Ingenue Ellis.
holy shit, that's
So
I think if King Richard's going to win something, this is the easiest one for me that I can give it to. In all honesty, I think Smith has much tougher competition. Smith has much tougher top competition in actress. Sorry, in actor. Um, whereas I think
he might. That's not gonna help him though.
I think with Ellis, it's her role as it's portrayed in the film is just as crucial in the way she brings up the kids, just as much as it is with Richard's weird way of bringing up the kids, if you wanted to call it that. So, I mean, that speech in the kitchen, that's going on the that's going on the for your consideration reel.
That right there was something that just, you could hear a pin drop in my theater when I saw that happen.
it's that or it's the one on the tennis court towards the end with I don't want you to look up and see me running away. He has so many clips.
Now it's funny
Anyway, just a random thought occurred to me. It's just some bullshit. I'm warning you. It's completely unimportant.
Oh, it's bullshit. It's James Corden, right? Taking a.
I was just noticing that a lot after Will Smith talked about it in a YouTube video, a lot of people have really been bringing up again the fact that he turned down playing Neo in The Matrix to do Wild Wild West and how big of a regret that was. And I was just thinking about how funny it would be if in the same year we get a new Matrix, Will Smith and Kenneth Branagh win Oscars. I kind of really want that
Hang
to
on,
happen.
IMDb. What is Kevin
Now-
Kline up to?
Now, no. I'm not gonna let that lie. Only if Bradley Cooper gets his nomination.
Which one?
John Peters, AJ, come on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I dropped the ball on that one. I really dropped the ball on that one.
Streisand.
Swing and a miss.
Streisand.
Okay, let's talk supporting actress for a second. Ashley, you kind of took the wind out of my sails on this one. I was going to go with Ellis on this, and then I was like, nah. It's a very Globes thing to do. I hate to throw that out there, but yeah, it's definitely something. I can see King Richard doing well at the Globes. This could be Balfe's win. Maybe one of her only wins, actually. It's very possible.
There was definitely a time in this season where I would have said Balfe at one point.
But you can't deny West Side Story, and it sucks because again, it's another thing I had to bump things out. I didn't want to bump out to put it in there to give away my spoilers for next week. But yeah, I feel like the race is. It's not over. There's no way it is. It's the first award show that people are not like. People are throwing pitchforks now because of this thing, and they don't care about it. But visibility, and when we actually get to important stuff, which I really hate to say, the Globes is not as important as it usually is this year, given everything that happened. Yeah, Ariana DeBose to win this.
Supporting actor?
Yeah, go ahead.
We got Ben Affleck for The Tender Bar, Jamie Dornan for Belfast, Kieran Hines for Belfast, Troy Coates for Coda, and Cody Smith-McPhee for The Power of the Dog. You know who I could honestly see actually taking this?
Say it.
Jamie Dornan.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're on the same page on that one.
I didn't mark him. I didn't say him, but I'm thinking that. And I've been on this thing that I feel like Cody Smith-McPhee's too young to be the sweep winner that he's been at the Critics Awards. Even though this is where Aaron Taylor Johnson won for Nocturnal Animals.
Yep.
And Aaron Taylor Johnson is my age, so he would have been, what, 26 at the time?
Yeah, sounds about right.
I believe Cody Smith-McPhee's only like 20. So I don't know that the Globes care.
Nope, I don't think they do.
So this definitely could be Cody Smith-McPhee. To the point that I'm actually kind of starting to change my mind in real time. The person that I marked, the person I put a mark by and said this is who I'm choosing in advance was Troy Coates.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of talk that Kieran Hines could start taking the big ones and ultimately win with his veteran status. But but like I was saying, Jamie Dornan's kind of speaking to me here. Maybe not elsewhere, but here.
So you're going with Troy Coates.
Sure.
That was extremely believable, AJ. Won't lie.
I mean, these performances are great. I haven't seen Affleck's yet, obviously, but
yeah.
But I mean, the category's so fucking weak this year. It's weird. Like you would think this would have been what this category looked like last year, when like nothing was coming out. But yeah, and that's the thing too, is like you would think, why aren't they choosing the right people? But I was preparing my own personal lineups, and it's like when you take all movies from this year into consideration, it's just a weak category all around. So yeah. So this could really be any of them. Like, it probably is Cody Smith-McPhee, and I'm probably going to hate myself when it's like, why the fuck didn't I say him? Of course it's him. But, yeah, I went ahead and said Troy Coates anyway, so I might as well stick to that.
All right, Ashley, what do you got?
I went with Cody, because it can't be the Golden Globes without a nice little bit of category fraud.
I'd say he's supporting.
Ooh, it's sort of
because
like...
there's a pretty big chunk of the first half he's not in.
Yeah, true. But I think if they want to sort of get in on sort of really pushing him before he makes probably a tiny 2-minute appearance in Baz Luhrmann's Elvis film that was supposed to come out like last month, but it's now got delayed to like summer, which probably shows that what could have been an awards contender may not be. Who knows? Then again, that film is cursed because it's got Richard Roxburgh in it. Well, I guess it depends how you look at it, if it's a curse or not. But yeah, I'm going with Cody.
Well, Cody seems to be the obvious choice. Coacher seems to be the somewhat like surprising choice that's not surprising at all. You know what? At this point, I mean, AJ's got a point here. Again, as always, I'm gonna go with Jamie Dornan here, and I never thought I'd say that, but I really like him in Belfast.
Up until like a few days back, Dornan was my consideration here as well. When I was trying to do a rough idea, so I wouldn't say it's out of the question.
Yeah, because if Kieran Hines is going to go for the big win, I would think SAG and BAFTA will take care of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Like I can't picture it here for some reason.
Oh, wow, we got lots of chat stuff to go with before we go any further. Josephine says it was Spielberg's birthday a few days ago. Cool. My mom said, Lorraine says, my mom said the kitchen scene in King Richard reminded her too much of Viola and Big Fences. Take a shot. Viola's big scene in Fences.
What, did it get her an award?
Josephine says, my brother loved Power of the Dog, said if Cumberbatch doesn't win, something is wrong. I would be fine with either Coates or McPhee win for supporting actor. Josephine says, I wish my Dr. Anders Danielson Lie was here. Brian says, when there was that gap of Snoop apologizing to Affleck, I thought the movie he was going to be nominated for was The Last Duel before Tender Bar. And apparently
that would have been amazing. Yeah. I would have loved to have seen Affleck nominated for The Last Duel. That would have been incredible.
And Josephine says, took ASL in college, so I naturally gravitated towards Sound of Metal and Coda. Yeah, Sound of Metal is awesome. I love that movie.
Somebody on this is such a sort of layered thing. Like, I saw this thing and this thing. Somebody, I was on the forum that I'm usually on, and somebody posted a tweet that somebody had said, and that tweet was, Ben Affleck in The Last Duel is what Jared Leto thought he was doing in House of Gucci. And that's pretty accurate.
Molto bene.
Oh, that's a thing that happened. All right. Oh man, this is gonna be interesting. I gotta see if I really want to do this or not.
Yeah, I had a choice here, but I actually feel unfortunately confident in what I actually said.
I feel fortunately confident, but actor, I'm still. We'll get there when we get there. Go ahead.
All right. We can actually say the full category this year. It's amazing. Best actress, musical or comedy.
Yes.
Where we have Marion Cotillard for Annette, Alana Haim for Licorice Pizza, Jennifer Lawrence for Don't Look Up, Emma Stone for Cruella, and Rachel Zegler for West Side Story. I almost immediately wanted to jump on Alana Haim, but I feel like it's going to be Rachel Zegler, unfortunately. I don't hate that performance, by the way. It's just I don't think it's particularly strong either. But I kind of feel it could still totally be Haim. I would say it's down to the two of them. Unless they go with a random Lawrence win, which honestly wouldn't, be completely feel like out of left field.
Considering how I've heard her part is written, I wouldn't rule it out. In all honesty.
I mean, I really like her in Don't Look Up more so than normal, actually, which is saying something for me. But I mean, it's one of those years that it's just like it's probably not gonna happen, but we'll get there. Ashley, what'd you pick?
I went with Alana Haim because as a breakthrough performance as well. I really want this to sort of be like, God, if she wins an Oscar before Gaga, Gaga will be pissed.
Okay.
I assume we mean for acting.
Probably.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Haim here too. I think it makes sense. As a matter of fact, I have to debate something in a minute, and we're about ready to go to the category. I'm gonna have to
also,
debate.
It turns out Haim are fans of 8 Crazy Nights, so there we go.
Fun fact: I previewed that movie and I was paid for it.
right. Once again, it's hard. We actually get to say there's more musicals here than
Yeah.
there are comedies. That's
It's not
wild.
it's not comedy musical. Actually, we have more musicals than comedy.
We've got DiCaprio for Don't Look Up, Peter Dinklage for Cyrano, Andrew Garfield for Tick Tick Boom, Cooper Hoffman for Licorice Pizza, and Anthony Ramos for In the Heights. So I don't know about everybody else, but I am removing Hoffman and Ramos from this conversation. The interesting thing here is that I feel, with every fiber of my being, that of these three, Garfield, Dinklage, DiCaprio, Garfield is the most likely to get an Oscar nomination.
Yeah, because it's
But
down to
for some-
Dinklage and DiCaprio for that fifth slot, as so many people think.
But for some reason, I'm feeling like Globe would go DiCaprio or Dinklage. Even though I completely stand by that Garfield is ahead of them in the Oscar race as far as getting nominated. And I'm leaning towards Dinklage.
Okay.
But I didn't make a choice. I didn't make a predetermined choice. That's why I'm doing this so slowly.
Fair.
See, I mean, this totally should be Garfield all day because I feel like he's ahead of all these people. But I don't know, for some reason, I'm just thinking they're gonna do one of those two, and I think I actually am gonna say Dinklage, which I will probably regret, but yeah.
Ashley?
Because I want it to actually get momentum and be a contender rather than just a nomination, Spider-Man.
It's funny because AJ immediately done the party right away because he's like, "Oh, Coop, Hoffman's officially out of this." What if he's not?
Yeah, I bet.
What if he's the What if he's the shock here? And that's why I've been trying to battle with this, looking at all three of these. Hi, Anthony Ramos. Nice that you joined us today. But I mean, and obviously he is me and AJ Spider-Man, and Twitter, you admit finally he's your Spider-Man too. Literally.
Well, he isn't my Spider-Man.
I'm sorry.
My Spider-Man is Into the Spider-Verse.
Animated.
Yeah,
of course, the one I haven't seen. So it's difficult for me here because my heart wants to go with Cooper Hoffman here and shock the world, but at this point, anything Licorice Pizza gets, I don't think is going to be shocking at all. Dinklage is here for sure. I could definitely see AJ's point with Dinklage winning this for sure. They obviously love Game of Thrones. They love to nominate him and they love to give him wins. So it makes sense. He's playing Cyrano de Bergerac. It makes sense. Like I said, he is my Spider-Man, damn it. And he's playing Jonathan Larson of all things. Of course, everybody knows how big of a rent mark I am. So yeah, I mean, Garfield's definitely got a shot at this. And you never bet against DiCaprio, but weirdly enough, he's only won 3 times in this category. So in the Globes period, he won for The Aviator, he won for The Revenant, and he won for The Wolf of Wall Street. So other than that, he's just been nominated. So they want to give him wins. And I can see AJ's point, and he's probably right because he usually is. And I'd love to go with Garfield here, and I'd love to be let's swing for the fences and go with Cooper Hoffman because I mean he's got surprise SAG nomination written all over him at this point. But yeah, I think at this point I can't see it getting anything else, but I feel that it's got to win something at the Globes. I'm going to go with DiCaprio. But if Cooper Hoffman wins, I said it first. So there. Even though I didn't go with it, I still said it. And I put it out in the cosmos like I like to do. So. Oh, drama actress. This is gonna be fun.
I figure we'd go ahead and just finish out musical or comedy.
That's fair.
All right, so picture musical or comedy. We have Cyrano, Don't Look Up, Licorice Pizza, Tick Tick Boom, and West Side Story. I was all prepared to just kind of go for Licorice Pizza, especially with what I was saying about how it hasn't peaked yet.
This isn't when it starts to peak, though.
Yeah, the really safe choice here is West Side Story, and that's what I'm going with.
Nope.
Really, really safe. Not safe as in it is guaranteed to win. Safe as in it's the one I feel most comfortable going with by far.
Ashley.
For some weird reason, I went with Licorice Pizza.
I want it to be Licorice Pizza, but it's the Globes, and I think that it's already been given. Both movies have gotten multiple awards for the night if we go with what we've predicted. So, yeah, we're going to split it in half and I'm going to go with West Side Story here. I want it to be Licorice Pizza, but I think this is a West Side Story love fest. See, everybody except for Ziegler.
I'll bring it.
Yeah, because
I'll bring it up here because I'm just wondering whether this is an interesting move. Do the Golden Globes try and go for the popular, like, big films? And then, like, try and say to people, look at all these films that you saw that we recognise, but all the other awards branches didn't. Look how out of taste they are with your feelings. And somehow, like, it becomes like the people's, like even though it's only like 100 and something people that vote for from the Hollywood Foreign Press, they're trying to be the more populous one because they don't have the eyes on them because of NBC's blackout on them. So I don't know.
Doesn't matter if they're popular.
What I'm trying to say is June's getting best drama, isn't it?
Would that be a good or a bad thing? That's my question.
It depends on who you ask, AJ.
Yeah. I say all that and they'll give it to Coda. And everyone was like, what the hell's Coda? Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute.
Last three?
Chat first. I have a few things. Brian says Cody's going to be playing Jimmy Rogers in Lerman's Elvis. Brian says, yeah, the acting scene in Fences where Viola does her iconic snot acting. This is Dinklage's second nomination. His first was his win for Game of Thrones. Yeah, I've talked about them loving Game of Thrones. So, I mean, Dinklage is definitely a contender for sure. But now we go into drama.
All right, actress. We have Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter, Nicole Kidman for Being the Ricardos, Lady Gaga for House of Gucci, and Kristen Stewart for Spencer. I could see these motherfuckers going Gaga.
I can too.
I can very vividly see them doing that. Is it weird? I can almost kind of see them doing Kidman as well.
Not weird at all.
Considering how she randomly won it like 2 years ago for Big Little Lies, or I can't remember when it was the first award, and because she was first, she managed to do like a 7-minute speech or something, which meant that everybody else had 4 seconds. I can't remember whether that was for 9 Perfect Strangers or Big Little Lies, or I can't remember.
I think that was a Big Little Lies night. I think. I think they're probably just going to play this safe, which means that I'm going to play this safe. Obviously, if you want to play it safe, an actress, you say Stewart. So that's what I'm doing.
Ashley.
Yeah, I want to say Coleman, but case to you.
I want to say Kidman, but yeah, Kristen Stewart for sure.
All the effort she put into getting the accent right is probably going to be enough. Oh no, it was last year for The Undoing, I think.
I think it's possible this may be one of the closest things we have to a sweep this season, potentially.
Holy. Oh, no, she nominated for that. Yeah, it was Big Little Lies that she won for. Wow, that was 3 years ago. It felt like last year. I've just noticed. Jesus Christ. Best Supporting Actress for Lion in 2017. Best Actress and technically Best Miniseries because she was producer for Big Little Lies. Best Actress for Destroyer. Best Actress for Big Little Lies Season 2. Best Actress for Undoing. This is her 6th straight year of getting nominated at the Globes. Wow.
I forgot they went with Destroyer. All right, are we on actor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, we have Mahershala Ali for Swan Song, Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos, Cumberbatch for The Power of the Dog, Will Smith for King Richard, and Denzel for Macbeth. Obviously, it's down to those last three, but I was having a conversation with you, Owen, and I said something to kind of put the fear in you. People really love to give Mahershala Ali awards.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, they really love to. I mean, you take True Detective Season 3 out of the equation, they'll give Mahershala Ali pretty much anything they can. And I was telling you that there's an open spot in actor as far as the Oscar nominations go. And if like just imagine just some hypothetical scenario where Mahershala Ali gets a SAG nomination for Swan Song. Where is this race?
Oh, so
But
it has come out then. I wondered whether it had already come out yet. But it released this past weekend.
But I'm not counting on that, so I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
You're just trying to get me back for what I said about Macbeth last week, honestly.
Mackie B.
Yeah, I've been wanting to believe this whole season. This whole season, I've been wanting to believe this was Will Smith versus Denzel, and always has been.
Sure.
Though Cumberbatch is here, and the fact that the Power of the Dog keeps like surging. Like, there was a while there where like Power of the Dog was really up here, and then it kind of disappeared for a little bit, but now it's like back with a vengeance. So Cumberbatch is definitely here, but for here, and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna stick with this Will Smith thing and see what happens.
All right, Ashley.
Fly the Flag. Cumberbatch.
Yeah, I mean, if this goes the way that AJ doesn't want to have happen at this point, and I brought up last week, this would be Denzel's win and his only win. But yeah, at this point, I feel like this is Will Smith. This is his award to lose at this point, honestly. He has to screw up something fierce to lose this award. And I mean this season, because he's got such a strong presence in the year. He's got to like mess up something fierce to lose at this point. Cumberbatch, I don't think The Power of the Dog is a Globes movie. I think they'll go other routes.
Yeah, the thing also is that Cumberbatch is like the one that's got all the critic wins right now.
Right.
But like we were saying, there's always somebody that kind of takes over. There are times where it gets really boring and everybody has the critics wins do get in, but there's usually at least one category where it takes one of these shows for that frontrunner status, the one that has all the other wins, to get taken over by somebody that starts to win all of these more high-profile ones.
Sure.
Like that's what the one I always come back to is this is what McConaughey did.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Chiwetel had like all the critic wins. And even though McConaughey seemed like a season-long sweep, it was really like the high-profile ones is when he swept.
Yeah.
The last category?
Yes.
Which one for you again, Owen? I was checking some stuff.
Will Smith.
Right. Okay, best drama.
We have Belfast, Coda, Dune, King Richard, and The Power of the Dog. There's something lurking in the back of my head that keeps telling me to say King Richard.
You're not the only one.
I marked Power of the Dog because, once again, it's just the easy choice right now. But they've done this. They went with Bohemian Rhapsody, didn't they? A couple of years ago. So they'll throw curveballs in this category. I guess I'll leave this to you guys. If I've already marked it on my list here, do I have to go with it? Or do I have to say this is my choice before I can't go back?
AJ, you know how I do this thing, and most people don't. Yeah, I feel like you're more than welcome once to say anything you'd like until it's officially said out loud.
All right, because I keep King Richard is really violating my eye line right now. It's like I'm looking at Power of the Dog, and then King Richard just keeps poking its head back in here. But I feel like I have to say Power of the Dog because it's the first one I went with. Because if it does win, I'm gonna break shit. So I'm just gonna I'm just gonna stick with Power of the Dog.
Okay.
But I see you, King Richard. You don't fool me.
Ashley.
You go with the one with the best ensemble. And that's Belfast.
Okay. This takes some explanation. I'm going to get closer to you guys so I can do this. All right.
It's being the Ricardos. From out of nowhere.
If only. If only. Now, visibility, we bring it up. It's the word of the night. Coda, for all intents and purposes, is out of this. Which means it's going to win. Belfast keeps losing ground, but let's say Dornan wins. Okay, we're good. King Richard, big win for Will Smith. Awesome. Power of the Dog hasn't won necessarily anything. Yeah, Power of the Dog potentially hasn't won anything. So it's got a really good chance. I always go back to when the Globes gave Avatar a picture. Usually, not always, when a drama wins picture at the Globes, whoop, gone. And eliminates itself from real contention for the Oscar. Now, that changes sometimes, but it's still things that happen. Hopefully you guys can still hear me because my AirPods said that now they're about to die. So as much as I want to go with King Richard here, and as much as I'd like to go with King Richard here, and I think that it's a very foreseeable possibility that could happen, I'm going to go ahead and cut the head off the snake right away. And I'm just going to eliminate any chance of AJ's curse coming through to the Oscars. And I'm going to give this to Dune. So if you give picture to Dune and West Side Story, you're going to get a lot of visibility with the general public. And they're going to care a lot more about what you have to say. And it might get them to follow around for the rest of the season.
It's my argument. It's my argument. The Globes want to regain relevancy, so they go with the ones that are the biggest box offices, arguably. Then again, of course,
and I feel
the same could be said with King Richard, because because of HBO Max, we don't know how many people actually watched either of the two at home rather than going to cinemas. So who knows?
I don't know. My West Side Story and King Richard showings are pretty packed, so. And I'm sure AJ's Dune showing was packed.
Neither one.
of them.
Well,
really?
Neither one, but I went in the middle of the week.
That's fair. That's fair. And Belfast was packed too. So I mean, I can say all the movies that I got to watch were packed screenings. So heck, even Don't Look Up was a busier showing than I'd expect on a weekday evening. But yeah, I feel like you want to gain visibility, you give picture to the two. Because obviously King Richard is the bigger crowd pleaser overall, but I mean visibility with the general public. West Side Story wins, Dune wins, and that way you spread the love a little bit. Because if you give everything to other movies, then you can't really give Dune anything else except for picture. You can give it director, but I feel like the race it's so difficult this year because you don't know what direction they're going to go. But yeah, I mean, I feel it makes sense to go with Dune for picture. I'll see it eventually, don't worry. I'm waiting for it to finally come around again so I can actually see it. When it gets its official Oscar nomination, I will be able to finally see it. But right now, it's not near me anymore. It's gone. Spider-Man, Matrix, Sing, Kingsman.
Is that it?
Do I have any more chat messages? Yes! Josephine says, sorry, I was gone for a bit. I took a shower after helping Mom make Christmas cookies for work. Oh, no worries. It's okay. We're still live, of course, because we keep going. Brian says, speaking of Denzel, first reactions to A Journal for Jordan. God, there's so much gimmicks here. That's literally his response. Cumberbatch is the personal pick, but if the Globes wanted a good diversity pick alternative to Will Smith, Denzel would be a good option, says Josephine. Would be happy with a Dune or Power of the Dog win. Love Belfast, but consider it more of a comedy. I see where you're coming from. Why we had that discussion on why a streaming service won't win Best Picture at the Oscars for this year? Yeah. Josephine says I would actually consider Power of the Dog a coming-of-age story with Cody Smith-McPhee's character. Coda is crowd-pleasing enough for a Globe drama win. Dune is popular enough. I don't think some of these box office reportings are accurate. Perhaps some of these theaters are holding on to the money and not giving them to the studios for revenge. At least when it comes to the non-franchises. Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, this might be a little too big, but it's the first example that comes to mind, so I'm going to go ahead and use it.
Okay.
It is such a crowd pleaser, like a cut and dry crowd pleaser, that there is an alternate universe where Coda gets a theatrical release and is as big as My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Oh, wow.
Like I said, that might be too big of an example, but there is an alternate universe where Coda has a massive appeal.
Funny that now that it's starting to gain actual traction is when I dropped it from my lineup. That's the crazy thing. Josephine says, saw West Side Story last week, not gonna lie, thought it was just okay. Loved visuals and choreography, but Ansel Elgort's performance lacked charisma. I don't like how they rearranged some of the songs.
Yeah, I think that's my problem. Is it's like everybody's talking about how amazing it is, but I'm just so attached to the original.
Sure.
I just feel like it just kind of feels like a remake. Is what it feels like.
Completely agreed. I think that's our show. It only took 2.5 hours. So next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the East Coast, our final Big 8 Oscar predictions of the season. Because the next time we do it after that, we're predicting everything. So that's going to be a blasty blast.
Hopefully, when we do our next prediction video, I don't have a concussion from smashing my head against a wall trying to figure out what they're going to be. But that might happen.
I'm actually advanced right now to the point that unless something drastic happens in the next week or so, I've got my lineups already set in stone at this point. And I feel a little bit more comfortable than I usually do. So that's how the season's going. So that's going to be next week's video. That's going to be Monday's Popcast, 7 o'clock. And, of course, the first Popcast of 2022 is going to be that Monday, 7 p.m. We're going to predict the Critics' Choice Awards. Probably talk a little bit about nominations as well, too, because that's coming up, too. Ashley, you mentioned, like, there's...
Well, we might mention the Annies because obviously there'll only be a few categories that are significant, like the independent ones and everything. Just having a quick look.
Lord.
Yeah, most of the guild ones I think are sort of mid to late January. BAFTAs.
Yeah,
BAFTAs are not till February, like with the Oscars. And then the other categories. Yeah, nearly everything seems to be sort of mid to late January. So
all over the place.
It will just be Annie's really that we just probably next week because nominations will go too long.
All over the place. Anyway, that's your take a shot. So let's see. Brian says, does that mean in this universe Coda gets a bad sequel?
I could see that. And it has to be like many years. It has to be like over a decade later.
Love chatting with you. Always sad when your episodes are over because I have so much fun. Thank you, Josephine. We appreciate that. You're very, very nice and kind. We appreciate you having your presence here every single time that we do a show. Same with you, Lorraine. Same with you, Brian. Same with anybody that's joining us either live or in archive. And that is Monday.
The one thing we could do, although it won't be predicted, is maybe just run through the Satellite Awards because they're getting announced on the 5th of January. Because obviously there's a lot.
Why not? We might as well.
There's a lot of crossover. Plus, it's where Mitchells and the Machines gets nominated for Best Animated Film. So let's acknowledge it somewhere, please.
Hi, BAFTA. So I said it here first. Yeah, so that's going to be your show for tonight. Like I said, the next 3 weeks we've got awards predictions. Next week is our final Oscar predictions for the Big 8, and then the week after is going to be Critics' Choice. And then we've got the actual show for the Critics' Choice and the Globes on the 9th, which I may chime in for that. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. We'll get more information on that very soon. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, so Mondays for the next 2 weeks. For the reactions, we may go afterwards on the Sunday, or we may just do it on the Monday afterwards. We'll see.
Ashley's got control of the network when it comes to certain things, so he has a way to do this, so I don't have to be present for it. So I mean, I may chime in.
I'm the one that's streaming this. That's why the bit rate is so crap, because it's British internet that's not very good.
That's a shoot. The funny thing about that is that's going to be as long as the Wi-Fi is good and I'm not doing anything, which I probably will because I will be in California after all. Needless to say, I may chime in. We'll see what happens with that. Josephine says definitely cover the guilds they share Academy members. Oh God, yes, we'll definitely cover the guilds. We always do. Part of the prediction game, as it is every single year. So everyone, thanks for joining us tonight, whether live or in archive. Ashley, you can be found at Ash is my name UK.
Mm-hmm.
Snack stashes, I have a few of those. Those will go up eventually. And I'm sure there's more gaming content to come. Wrestling fans, get ready. 2022 Wrestling Popcast return to this network, focusing on all elite wrestling and game changer wrestling only. So the only thing that I watch currently. That's going to be coming soon. More information coming soon in that. AJ, of course, as always, I'm sure you know what I'm going to say before I say it. He cannot be found on social media, and just like Keith Richards cannot be killed by conventional weapons. Needless to say, if you'd like to leave him a comment, you're more than welcome to do so, and he will get to it in a wrap-up video somewhere in the next 3 or 4 years. So if you can check that out as well. AJ's content will be coming in abundance. It's already started. There's more to come. Obviously, if the cookies weren't being baked, we'd have a review of Belfast, but that's coming soon, so don't worry. No problem at all.
Yeah, on top of new reviews, there's also I'm preparing 2 new Emily Blunt and I'm planning with my brother to talk about Hawkeye, of course. So that's a few things that are happening, and the Scream franchise to lead into the new one. I'll have something.
Ton of sipping snacks coming in the near future. I filmed a lot of things. They're on this phone. I've drank some of these actually on camera the last couple of weeks. I didn't have anything today because I finished my drink before I was able to do something. I've got more Voices of Liberty content. I've got Water Parks video from the Water Park show from November 19th. So, yeah, there's lots of content coming to this network that's going to get us through into 2022 and beyond. I got a special surprise for you guys and girls out there on Christmas Day that I haven't put up in many years. So I'm actually going to film something that I had on here a long time ago. It's still on this channel right now, but I didn't look like this back then, and I feel like it was a good time to actually do a new version of it. So that's coming soon. And like I said, a lot more content still to come. So that's going to be your show for tonight. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. And as always, I want to thank all you guys and girls out there for watching. And until next week, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
So I've got nothing to do this time, so just transition.
Get well soon, Danhausen.